Welcome everybody. It's me, I'm back again, it's Francis. We're here at the Vision F1 series. It's round 2 of season 5. We're here at Kyalami Circuit in Johannesburg, South Africa. The drivers are just getting started on the qualifying runs. 15 minutes left on the clock, just about. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, F1 haven't raced here for a couple of years now. Used to be an old F1 track, Kyalami, but not anymore. Or at least it's not on the calendar. It's home for GT racing mostly nowadays, I think, and of course the eventual F4 and that sort of stuff. But yeah, an old F1 track. We saw it, I think, last season round as well with some tracks that were used previously. We had Turkey, for example. So that is one of the things with the Vision F1 series that I quite like, at least, that we bring these old and still very good tracks back on the calendar. As we're then watching Malone start his first lap. Now, Malone had an interesting race last time around, obviously in Barcelona, the first round of the season. He pitted during an early safety car caused by his own crash, but which looked like, at least for the most part of the race, like it was going to benefit him quite a lot. He was gaining positions left, right, center with that short pit stop. But in the end, the tires didn't last for him, and he dropped down to P3. Still a good result for Malone, but as we're looking at, he's sliding all over the place. But this Kyalami is a tricky circuit. It's hard to get the balance right on these cars. Obviously, a lot of downforce on this track as well, but still, you know, it's tricky. It's tricky. A lot of elevation changes, a lot of snappiness in the corners. Yeah, it's going to be fun watching these guys tackle this track with these new cars, of course. We're using the Alpine 2025 mod from RSS. So everyone using the same car, not the same setup, I will say that. So we might see some setup differences. We've seen it before with, for example, the Voltex cars using lower aero in general. We've seen compared to some of the other guys. As Malone sets the benchmark time for now, 1:15.2. Prunings, max prunings going around as well, 1:15.6. So 4/10 behind, but still a long way to go. 12 minutes on the clock as we're watching Malone then go out for his second outlap of these runs. Let's cut back to who have we got outside. We've got Eads. Let's look at Eads for a second there. No, he's abandoning a lap. Never mind, he just set his lap. Yeah, those are coming in now for their second lap, or their first lap, how you want to see it. We can look at this. No, Franklin. Oh yeah, Franklin is P1. Sorry. Franklin has gone P1 now. If I can see the laps. We have some technical issues already. This is a good start for us. Let me just bring up my keybinds real quick, which have all been. Oh, that is annoying. Let me just. Yeah, my keybinds have been reset apparently. So I have to. Well, I have to type them in again. So bear with me for a second. Obviously, it's still 10 minutes left of qualifying. 11 minutes, actually, I should say. So we're not missing that much. But yeah, let's just keep at it for a moment whilst I finish this up. Okay, yeah. There you go. Sorry for that, guys. We are back now. Now we can see the timings. Alright. Still Franklin P1. He is starting a lap right now. So let's go on board with Franklin. I think we've done this in the past as well, but no, let's do it again. Why not? For good time's sake. This is his second lap, it should be. His last lap was at 1:14.8. Now, this is a tricky circuit for many people. Obviously, it's a bit of like, you're not used to it, of course. Seeing as it's not very, I would say it's not a popular circuit, but it's not a commonly used circuit in different championships and so on. So the drivers are still, I think, getting used to it. I saw some people with 200 plus laps in the practice systems, and that just shows the level of just competitiveness in these guys and wanting to maximize track time and, you know, wanting to maximize speed and time. As we see, Franklin is a yellow first sector. Yellow obviously means it's not a personal best. Yellow middle sector as well is looking like a not so good lap for Franklin. He's only a 10th behind his best, but still it's not looking really good. We have to of course acknowledge that Franklin is currently one, so a personal best would be a server best as well, or a race best, qualifying best if you will. Franklin improves only with 200 of a second there. Maybe not what he wanted, but still he has got, what is it, 9 minutes left. He can improve probably, I'm guessing at least. As you see, Vanotti go over the line, and that is Fortin's best. Vanotti, Luca Vanotti going P1 provisionally. As we see a car off in the background here, yeah. Ooh. I wonder who we got. Take a look at. Let's take a look at Alak Barli, a new driver here from Azerbaijan. We saw his debut last time round. A solid performance, I have to say. It was really strong in qualifying. Had some minor issues in the race, but still, you know, really good racecraft from him. So yeah, let's see what he can pull out of the bag. Currently, he is 8th with a 175, so still a bit off the pace, or should I say he can find a bit more pace already this lap. I'm guessing this is his second lap now, improving almost 7/10 on that lap, but that only puts him in P7 for now. P7 for Alak Barli. As you see, a lot of people going out now. The drivers are sort of mismatched on what lap they're on. Let's look at who haven't we watched? We haven't watched Fanotti's out and out lap. Let's do Eads. Yeah, Eads is also an out lap. Yeah, so now we're catching the guys obviously on out laps, most of them. Jet also an out lap. He is starting that. Let's go on board with Jet. Why not? For what should be a hot lap now. Heading down into, that was already turn 1, the kink as it's called. Down into turn 2, a lot of fast gear shifts now. The track is, as you can see, it's quite flowy, but still, you know, it's a lot of acclimation, which means you have to be really careful on throttle, using all the curb there. Now, this is a really long, fast right-hander. I'm thinking they're doing a flat, but no, actually, they're not doing a flat. Slightly, at least for Jit here. Going on throttle again to this sort of dipper that we have here. Left, right, hold the right there, onto the curb. Oof, big snap close there for Jit then. Hard braking over the crest, down into second gear for Jit. It's not looking like a good lap for him, if I'm being honest here. He seems to have drained his battery as well. He's losing a lot of time on the straight, so I'm unsure of what's happened there. I think he's not sure if he has the battery on or something, because he's losing way too much time just by going straight now. Or could that? I'm unsure why that is. He's losing almost 4 seconds in that last sector. That was really strange to see now. Or he was recharging for another lap. Yeah, he's going for another lap. Okay, that makes sense, guys. I was unsure, but he was recharging really quickly. So once again, we see going down turn 2. That is this corner here. Nice and tidy on the apex. He's improving off that good run here. Yeah, he stopped nicely there. Yep. As we see Malone setting a faster sector 1 out of this qualifying session right now. But we're gonna follow Jit for a while now, just see what he can do. Still, he's looking like a mediocre lap for Jit. He's improving his first sector, obviously that green part, and still in the same corner, he loses it. In the same corner. So that just, once again, touching the curb almost too much that I'm not sure if he's going to go for another lap. I don't think he will, as he oh, that is a really nasty incident there. just loses it on exit in that fast corner. That looked really weird for me as Antisol coming on them. That was an interesting incident to say the least. That is a corner we should have almost maximum grip from those wings on the F1 cars, but Jet just not having that, it seems. Could tell us a bit about the setup, of course. If he has chosen, you know, a stiff rear end with almost no aero, that could mean he's sliding through those sort of corners. But yeah, that is something to look out for. Let's take one of the leaders instead then. Vanotti, he is opening a lap. Perfect for us. Let's go on board with him. I like going on board with the drivers, you know. So let's have this overhead view of him going through. I should say overhead view, but the cameras seem to be switching up on me. Yeah, going through then. Oh, it's changing. That is annoying. Slightly. Still these cameras. We have so many camera options. Oh, as we see a spin, is that Jet in the background? I'm guessing it's Jet. No, it's not. It is... Who was that? Who was that? I think they teleported back pits. Shit, sorry. Alright, let's follow Vanotti then. As the cameras keep changing. Why does the cameras keep changing? Not what we want right now. I am unsure what happened there. Vanotti seems to have spun in those bends there. So not an improvement for Vanotti. He's going out for an out lap again. There's Malone on a lap. Malone is on a flying lap and he is quite literally flying, locking up then into the double apex corner here, you could call it. This is where we saw Jet spin, of course, in that fast left-hander, but no, he gets a nice little stop there. It's a personal first, it's a, no, it's not personal, it's a best sector overall in the first sector for Malone as he goes into the pits. That is interesting actually. He's going to switch cars then, so he's not happy with that lap and he wants to get another one done. Remember now, there's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. A lap is 1 minute and about 40 seconds. We can see what the best lap is right now. 1 minute 46 from Luca Vanotti then. So there's not much time to play with. Only one more lap it should be, counting an out lap of course. But yeah, is Vanotti, he's about to start a lap now. He's on the final sector as we see. Who is that then? That is the teammate of Malone, who is Max Prunings. We haven't seen him too much in Vision F1 actually, although being Malone's teammate, but yeah, it's finally nice to see him on track. He's been in a few of the races last season around, I think. But yeah, always great to see new drivers on the grid, or semi-new, I should say, for him. But yeah, let's go on board with him. Why not? I like going on board in qualifying, you know, give you some examples of just how tricky these corners are. And it's not looking great right now for Prunings. 2 tenths behind on his best lap. As he brakes, he is, yeah, he's not wanting to continue that lap. Which is odd, because he probably won't get another lap. This out lap will be too much for the car. We only have 1 minute left now, so I don't think he's going to get to the line in time. Actually, yeah, he's realizing that now, I think, as well. Unless this is some shenanigans we're seeing from him. But yeah, it's Vanotti as I switch to him. He's crushing again in the same corner almost. Getting caught out on that curve there, as we saw Jit do the same a couple of laps ago. So that is obviously somewhere we're gonna, you know, watch out for the extra for, especially on the race star. I think that curve could mess some people up, it seems. But right now we have our top 3 is Luca Vanotti, Luke Franklin, and I'm alone. Separated by just about 2 tenths from Vanotti to Malone, and then we have Eads in P4 with a 1:15.3, so not the sort of pace that we usually see Eads with. He's usually a bit more competitive, at least in quali and in race stream, I should say. But still, it's looking like a net P4 for Eads. I'm Just checking here if we have anyone out on the track right now. We have Jit out on the track. Let's take a look at him. Why not? Alright then. It's not looking too good for Jit right now. Will he get caught out on the bend again? He does! And that corner just seems to be tricky today. Obviously, you know, you want to get on the power as soon as possible. Some people probably are on power already. That's what maybe just caught them out a bit, catches them out a bit. Sorry, oh my god. I've had 4 hours of work already, so I'm a bit knackered, if I can admit. But you know, it's a lovely Sunday evening. It's lovely to be here, so I'm not complaining. You know, you'll just have to do with a bit of starters here and there from me. But yeah, it's looking like a great evening, guys. Big split from the top 10 here. So obviously you have Vanotti then. It's looking like P1 with a 1:14.6, and Diaz running out the top 10 with a 1:18.2. Almost a 1:18.3 actually. So quite a big difference there in speed. Now, I want to take this time between sessions. To the guys that have, you know, watched the streams previously and watched this segment, there's usually a short break here. But now, I would like to dedicate this time between sessions to the driver who tragically passed away yesterday at the Nordschleife. As many of you probably know, Finnish driver Juha Miettinen sadly died yesterday because of sustained injuries in multi-car pileup and a crash. On behalf of the Division F1 management, drivers and community, our thoughts are at this time with Juha's family and friends, and I would like to dedicate these next moments as a minute of silence in remembrance of Juha, starting now. Yeah, no, you know, this weekend is it's a special one for all the wrong reasons, of course. It feels, you know, a bit odd to be racing, especially when we've seen, you know, what this sport that we all love can accomplish. But I think I personally didn't know him, of course. I didn't know him until, you know, yesterday. But I think he would love this, and so let's just get this race done with, you know. Hopefully a lot of good battles coming. Let's just not get this bogged us down. 30 seconds to lights out. Let's take us through the grid now. We have Malone starting P1, Vanotti P2. I think that is wrong actually. It's Vanotti P1 and Malone P2. Franklin P3. Pruning's actually P5. Yeah, some of the grid is wrong now. That is not great. That is not great news for us at all. I will try to call out when the first lap is done what the... As we see a bit of contact actually in the beginning. It was a jump start. A lot of people running late then. But let's take a look at the top three. We have Vanotti on the inside. We have Malone actually passing Vanotti on the outside. But Vanotti is responding. He's hanging around the outside, but he can't. He can't. That is a trick corner to get by on. Malone having the advantage then after turn one. Vanotti behind. We have Franklin in P3. These top three we've seen all the season long, and last season of course, battling for the podium and the top step. As we see a lot of those. There's someone spinning. That is someone spinning. Was that Alec Barley? I think that is Alec Barley. Yes, it is. Oh, what a shame for him. He is dropped down to P13 now, and guess what's behind him. That is a shame. Just got caught out in the curve there. We see a lot of drivers bunching up here. But yeah, let's take a look at these midfield drivers here. No, let's take a look at the top split actually. Vanotti then still P2, Franklin and Eads catching up to Franklin, I should say, his teammate then, with Max Prunix not far behind after all. So these top 5 people in a sort of pack of their own already actually, with Jit closing in behind, but he's already 1.7 seconds behind almost. So a gap already forming. Yeah. And Vanotti is not getting by, it seems. Franklin as well, no. Let's see, let's take a look who's close by. There's already a big gap forming between drivers, as we see here in the midfield, on the timetables. But yeah, let's look at, let's take a look at this bird. He got past Alec Barley. Alec Barley probably has damage, he seemed to have been in the wall then. Diaz is running up to Max Rush now. New driver, he had this debut race where he DNF last time around in Spain. So we didn't see all too much of Max Rush, but hopefully he can, get his revenge or come back this race. Currently occupying the P9 position with Diaz closing in behind. As Franklin has the fastest lap of the race so far. As we see a change of the lead, but not around the outside. That is a mega move from him. We almost missed it, but barely caught it. He gets past Malone. What a drive from him. Alright then. Malone though, still 4 tenths behind. He's going to want that position back. He's hungry today. He is fast today compared to last time around. He was a bit off last time around in Spain. We saw maybe it was a season break or something, but he wasn't quite where we used to be seeing him. So it's great to see him back in form and fighting for that top step together with Vanotti and Franklin. But let's take a look at Prunings. I mean, come on, this guy is catching up their leads like nothing. He's not yet past Eads, but he is looking quite good so far. Heading down into turn 13 here, hard braking zone after that, long straight with that bend of course as well. Into the final corner, I should say, almost final corner. This is the final corner. So Prunings, these guys still in DRS threshold. So definitely building a gap now. Jit 7 seconds almost behind, 6 seconds. The timing seemed to be off today. Sorry for the technical issues here, but our broadcasting view doesn't seem to be cooperating. But the closer drivers should be working alright. So let's just, as we might see a move from Franklin on Malone. Malone's dropped significantly to Vanotti then. Almost a second and a half behind Vanotti. That leaves him vulnerable without DRS to Franklin. And Pruning still hunting on Eads in the background there. And the other guys seem to have been, as we see in the timetables now, they've split up quite far, about a second between each other. Even more for some guys. So I think we're just going to, stick with these top 5 drivers. This is where the main battle seems to be happening. As we see Vanotti just pulling away actually, 1.78 seconds now. Mega start from Vanotti. Let's take a look at the tyre choices though. Almost everyone in top 10 on C4 tyre. That is the softer tyre. The softest tyre you can run in the race grid, of course. C5 tyres are the ones, or C6 actually, super soft tyres are the ones you can run in poorly. So we usually don't see this tyre, only if certain things happen. But yeah, as we see just how far that gap has stretched now. What is it now? It's 2 seconds, 2 seconds and 3/10 actually to Malone. So Vanotti is looking really fast today. Ooh, going over that sketchy curve that we've seen before, Franklin, and you see these guys just avoiding it, it seems. They know that that is a risky curve, and one small mistake could catch you out and lose your positions, you know. Let's take a look at Juan Corrales, a driver I don't know if we featured him that much last time around in Barcelona, but he's looking like he's catching up to Max Rush, who has after they lost the position to Diaz, as we talked about earlier. Yeah, but he's losing out to Rush again now. So just a bit of back and forth here with the drivers. I think, like I told you before, the main battles today seems to be in the top 5. Kroening's still not able to get by Eves. He's still in that 0.6 gap behind. And now he's losing a lot actually. So could that be some extra harvesting for him, or does he have an issue of any sort? His dropped by to 1 second and 3/10. So something has gone wrong for Max Kroening. He's losing almost half a second to the guys in front, and hopefully he can catch back up and get in that DRS train again. But yeah, something seems to have happened to Max Kroening. Still P5, really good results so far. Let's take a look at Malone then. He's leading these guys on now. He is currently P2 with Vanotti leading him on in P1. Of course, that we see a flash of red. That is the car of Vanotti then. Franklin also close behind Malone, but he's unable to get by. Franklin started P3 and is still P3. Yeah, Franklin, he's not looking. These are tight fights now. We saw in qualifying just how tight the gap is, so they are basically on the same pace, I should say. We often see them almost going side by side, but Malone covers that off. Franklin just could not get by at that moment. So I wonder when we're going to see the tyres deteriorating, because obviously a lot of high-speed corners here, which usually just chew up those tyres like crazy, and we see Franklin going a bit wide with his teammate Eads, going behind and thinking, should I pass? Should I not? I'm unsure. But yeah, at least, top 5 looking quite stale right now. With the gap to Malone from Vanotti almost reached 3 seconds now. That is a crazy amount just in these first 7 laps. And remember, Vanotti wasn't past Malone until lap 3 or something. So only 4 laps or something, Vanotti has gotten that gap that big. As we see Franklin almost looking for a move on Malone. Could this be a move on the straight? Let's hope so. We all want some good racing here, as we see Vanotti in the background there. Or in the foreground, I should say. Franklin then. Takes the outside. Malone doesn't want him on the inside. Goes around outside. Can he stick it by? It's tight racing. Gets caught up on the curve there, but Malone holds off once again. So we're seeing that move being tried over and over again. We saw it with Vanotti on Malone a couple of times as well, when he didn't get past. So it seems once you cover that inside line off and just, get to the apex first, which is not a rule we have different sort of routes compared to F1. But when you get to the apex first, you seem to just have that bit better traction and just can get by much easier. Like we see Malone do just then. So now the gap with this fighting 4 seconds to Vanotti. This is looking good. This is looking really good for Luca Vanotti already. I shouldn't say too much. Obviously, it's lap 8 out of 34, so a lot can happen. We've seen a lot go wrong with pit stops and so on, the strategy. I think Vanotti is if I'm being honest, the driver that has had the most, I shouldn't say issues, but problems with strategy. He has, gambled a bit, and sometimes it hasn't worked out. I remember Brazil, for example, he was really frustrated with himself after choosing wrong tyres to go on. I don't think it lost him any positions, to be fair, because Franklin was really rapid that race. So he would have lost the position either way, but still, you know, Vanotti has been seen before to make some interesting choices, and as long as he gets the strategy right today, I think it's looking really good for him. This was the best laps then. Oh my god, Vanotti with the 17.0 and Franklin 17.4. That's just how big the gap is, the speed difference is right now between the drivers. Franklin has overtaken Malone, as you saw before, there with DRS. So it's looking really good for Franklin, and Malone seems to be dropping off actually. I mean, he started P1, no, he started P2 actually, got by in first corners and so, but has he overused those tyres? Maybe, it could be. So I think we're going to see a couple of drivers starting to pit soon, and I'm guessing it's going to be, this is my prediction of course, but I'm guessing these drivers are going to go to the C1 tyres, the hardest comfortable tyre, just to, you know, stick there and let the race out, as we see a big loss of Paul Malone, but it's a great lap so far. As we're looking at his delta, then 2/10 up, going a bit wide on that curve that we saw a few spins in qualifying on as well. Spins and moments, I should say. But yeah, still these top 5 drivers in a really close battle. Max Brunings hasn't actually dropped that much. I talked about him earlier and said that it would be hard when he was, you know, outside of the DRS gap, but he hasn't lost too much pace, if I'm being honest. He's still 2 seconds behind. When he made that mistake of some sort, he obviously dropped down to 1.6 seconds behind, so still he's holding up quite well, but how are his tyres holding up? That is the big question, as you see him locking up and having a bit of wheel spin as well. Yeah, a lot going on right now, at least in the top 5. It's very spread out after the top 5. We have just 17 seconds already behind Prunings. That just shows the pay difference. As we see, is that Vanotti pitting. It is Vanotti pitting. Okay. So this is major for Vanotti then, as we see Eads pitting as well behind him, and Prunings as well. Okay. So the first 3 are in of this race. Is Vanotti leading us off, and which tyres has he gone on? It looks like C1 tyres. Could I be right? It is C1 tyres. Eads as well going with C1 and Prunings. So yeah, looks like a pretty clear strategy choice there. C4, C1, and I'm guessing the other guys are as well going to do that. Because, yeah, like this corner, you know, that front left is just going to be shoo. It's going to be old, and it's going to be, you know, weak after a couple of laps on the C4 tyres. This section is, we see him, you know, he's not using all the track there. We saw it pretty clearly. These guys are of course cold, so he's, you know, he's being really careful, but being careful is almost an exaggeration there, or understatement, because he was not using the track after all there. But you know, Vanotti has a pretty neat gap right now to Malone and Franklin, as when I speak they are pitting as well. Malone behind Franklin, so they should come out just about the same gap. I'm unsure of what the gap was when they pitted, but yeah, they're being passed by Vanotti, as Malone actually seems to have been losing a bit of time there. Almost more than a second behind. We've seen this before. Franklin is really good at pit-stops. He was, you know, earlier in season 4, in the earlier rounds, he was losing a bit of time in pit-stops, but then he just, you know, he just locked in, really, if I can say so. But, you know, and his pit-stops are amazing nowadays. At least when you compare them to other drivers, as we see now, Malone has lost out a bit of time there. To Luke Franklin in that Voltex car. And now the gap is almost 4.5 seconds down to Franklin from Luca Vanotti, our current race leader. But let's go on board with some of those. I mean, these guys, they are really fast, they're having really good battles and so on, but let's know, as I speak actually, Max Pruning seems to have made a mistake. He's dropped by Jick somehow. Oh, that should be with the pit stop because Jet has not pitted yet. Ah, that is what it is. So Max brings then on new hard tires and Jet on old soft tires that should be giving up any second now. Maybe he's even pitting this lap, I'm guessing. Yeah, there we go. So Max is not getting too caught up with Jet there, who was, you know, not on the same pace as these top 5 guys. But pruning stand has dropped almost 6 seconds behind Eads. That is a huge gap now. He was almost 2 seconds behind when they pitted, but something has clearly gone wrong for prunings. Still keeping that P5 position. But yeah, as we look then, is that DS has not pitted, I don't think. So let's just check what the gap was to Jit, because when they pitted, the gap to Jit was only just about, was it 17 seconds to prunings, but now it's looking like the same actually. So I might just be rambling right now. Yeah, I gotta say I am a bit tired, I have to admit that, so this is not going to be the best stream you've ever watched tonight. But then, oh, let's look at Max Rush actually, as his steering wheel seems to have disappeared. Unsure of why that is, but yeah, Max Rush is driving without the steering wheel. I mean, let's give him a round of applause, because that is amazing work actually. Just controlling with his bare, you know, air between his fingers and his legs then. Controlling that car nice and tidy. Closing in on Godfrey, I should say. Godfrey slowing down a lot in that corner. Max Rush 3/10 behind now. Oh, is there going to be a move? He is almost colliding with Godfrey there. Having to really just brake. As to go down then to this corner that we saw Jit crash in qualifying. And I think we saw from Rush there, Max Rush, he was going really wide through the exit of that fast bend. So could that be he's just, you know, avoiding, trying not to turn in too much, because that could lose his rear. That is what I'm seeing at least. But let's look at the front again then. Vanotti still with that 4.5 second, as I'm speaking. Max Rush gets past Godfrey. That is a move done, or is it? Maybe I was speaking too soon. Godfrey is looking feisty. He's looking feisty. He's thinking about it, but he's back behind. Okay. Now there's not a lot of opportunities obviously to overtake after T1 it seems. DRS helping a lot in T1, but I mean these are, you know, fast corners, so it's difficult to get by without someone making a, you know, severe mistake. We almost saw it before with Godfrey and Rush, of course, past lap. But as we see a mistake from Godfrey, that's going to cost him a lot of time. And I don't think he's going to be able to respond to Max Rush anymore. Let's look at Malone then. He's closed in on Franklin again. Malone, we know from the past, we saw it in Barcelona, as there's a huge incident somewhere here. That is Gisbert in the wall, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, that it is time for the safety car to come out actually. That means the commentating will stop for just a bit, because unfortunately we don't have 2 commentators at this moment. So I am gonna pull out the safety car now, and I'll see you guys in just a minute. As the field's gonna bunch up behind me, I think. And what we see now is basically people closing the gap. Obviously, we saw there was a big gap between the P5 drivers, or the top 5 drivers, and the rest of the field. So if we're looking at the minimap, we can see them closing in now, but still a lot of drivers, you know, not there yet. We need to wait for them to get here right now. So there's going to be a couple of laps, I think, under this safety car. Like I touched on before, we don't have our second streamer and safety car driver today, so it's not going to be as neat and tidy as last time around, unfortunately. But we'll try our best, or let's say I'll try my best, to just, you know, bunch up the field and get this race going soon enough. And if we look at the minimap, then we have some stragglers behind. I think some of them hitting actually. So there's going to be, you know, only a few laps left on the safety car. Only a few laps left. Alright then, it should be going back to racing speeds now as we see Franklin then leading the grid off. There's been a change of positions actually. Vinotti has somehow dropped. I think he might have been involved in that incident earlier on. Franklin leading us off. Vinotti in P3 currently. This is a change of positions after the safety car. I didn't notice it now. Oh, Franklin leads us off with a good run then. But we see in the background then the field really bunches up. Malone, is he gonna have Vinotti looking at him? No, it's not. It's Max Prunings there, going for a move on. Who is that behind? Is it Jet? Yes, it is. Or is he defending actually? Yes, he's defending. Sorry for that. A lot of position changes in the back, it seems. It's really tight with some people here. As you see, Max Prunings moving on the outside of Jet. Yeah, a lot of position changes after that safety car. I think some people might have pitted on the safety car. We can check of this who has pitted. Oh, actually not. So not that many people have pitted yet. But wow, once again, these things doesn't seem to be counting. So yeah, some technical issues once again here at Vision F1. It seems to be a recurring theme, but hopefully we'll get it fixed for next race. The pit stops doesn't seem to be working though. In this leaderboard version, as we see, big snap there for Malone. A lot of smoke in the background there. Who was that for? Was it Bernardi looking up earlier on? No, it's not. Oh, a spin for Diaz. He gets through safely though. A lot of guys passing by now. It's a spin for Diaz. He gets it through. Maybe some ISO there, but he gets it through. Ooh, that could have been a major incident there. Diaz then dropping a few places as well. But yeah, the top 5 now seems to have spaced out a bit, almost a second, a bit more between them. Franklin leading us off again, so Franklin, strong competitor this season it seems. He has, you know, recharged over the season break and he is back for more. He's wanting that P1 season finish. Let's see Vinotti then, looking at the back of Eads, 5 tenths behind. Half a second behind. He should get by soon enough, I think. And Eads, obviously, we talked about it earlier, he doesn't seem to really be having pace. We can compare the best laps of Eads and Vinotti. Eads almost half a second behind him in pace, or 4 tenths behind actually. So major pace difference here from Eads and Vinotti it seems. But he's not getting by just yet. We have some changes for position in the background. It is a spin for Diaz again. Oh no, and Diaz drops to P11. That is not what we want to see. It was a spin for Diaz. Could there have been contact? I'm unsure. There were a lot of cars around him at the moment. Could be. There might be some driver reports after the race. But yeah, let's take a look at Eads then. He just got passed by Vinotti it seems on turn 1. So Vinotti then moves up to P3, but he's fallen far behind Malone now. 2 seconds almost behind Malone. As we see some smoke in the background, but I don't think it's someone going off. No, it's not. Prunings then, Rowan talked about earlier, still P5, but he's now, with that safety car, he has re-emerged and closed that gap. Well, the safety car closed that gap for him actually. Yeah, just about a second, so he's outside of the DRS now of Eads, which is unfortunate for him. Hopefully he can catch him back in this last sector, using a bit of more battery probably. We see his Delta flashing green now, so he's going fast, he wants that DRS. 9 tenths behind, I think he's going to have it. Can we see the wing opening? I'm unsure where the DRS actually starts in this track. Yeah, he has the DRS, you see. Then Eads, 5 tenths behind Vinotti. He's not able to respond at the moment to that overtake from Vinotti last time around. But once again, we see the field, you know, splitting up. We see 4 tenths Jet from Jet to Prunings. 4 seconds, sorry. 8 seconds from Godfrey to Jet to almost 3 seconds from Rush to Godfrey. So a very split race today. Not a lot of, I mean there's been a lot of action, but not a lot of action in the midfield I should say, which is unfortunate. Let's take a look at Ian then. Currently occupying last place, P13 of the race. He's behind Alec Bradley, our new Azerbaijani driver, who we saw spin on the first lap. Ian was closing in, but has now lost a bit of time again. So, like I said, these drivers here, is that a spin for Diaz again? No, it's not. Okay. But Diaz is closing in on Bernardi then. 5 tenths behind. 3 tenths behind. Going a bit wide there. Going through that nice left hand kink here. Yep, it's looking like he's closing in on Bernardi, I guess. But he's losing time again. So, like I talked about, like I was going to say, my commentary is so messy today. No, but seriously, these Milfy guys, they seem to, be going back and forth really. Sometimes they're closing, sometimes not. So it's really hard to follow at the moment who's doing what. But the leaders then, they seem to have spaced out a bit. So I think we're just going to stick with Diaz for the moment being. Heading down then, of course, into the corner that I find quite funnily named Barbecue. Into Sunset, not the one at Sebring, but the Sunset at Kailami. Clubhouse. Now this is turn 7, Clubhouse. 5 tenths behind. Heading down into the SS of 8 and 9. Heading over the bend, down turn 10, 11, Le Coupe, or Leo Coupe. This should be a tradition, I think, us only explaining traffic corners. Heading down into what's called the mine shaft, this sweeper here. As we see him with DRS moving a bit. Ooh, he was looking, oh no! Oh no, it's a chaos race for Diaz. Bernardi spins and Diaz goes right into him. Obviously there was not much that Diaz could have done there, but oh, it's an unfortunate accident there. Hopefully not too much damage on Bernardi's car. We know that Diaz's car is probably already a bit damaged from earlier incidents. But yeah, it's not what we want to see, but it can happen in racing. Max Rushton, almost half a second behind now to Godfrey. We've seen these two battling before, but now they're battling for P7, respectively P8. So this is some interesting stuff then. Only 10 laps to go of the race. Our pit stop counter is not working currently, so we can't show who has been in and who has not. But Max Rushton going to the outside of that corner I previously talked about. It's like, oh, going on the grass. That is unfortunate for him. Almost moved on that, so it would have been really nice. But not the fastest lap, 1:16.7. So, yeah, these drivers actually going faster on C1 tire compared to C4. Interesting stuff. But Max Rush still half a second behind now. But still, we see a big gap between Godfrey and Jit, of course. And Jit to Koenings is also quite a big gap. So the drivers, as well as on the minimap, you can see, are really spaced out now. But Rush going around the outside. What a move! I was going to say, but he can't get the power down. So Godfrey holds onto that position. Is he gonna try it? He's gonna try it. Oh my god, these guys, man, they are really going for it now. Going side by side into Sunset. Godfrey seems to be the one behind, but he brakes later. Is it too late? No, he gets it nicely stopped, and Rush has to slot in behind him. Whoa! So finally some action. Let's go on board with Rushton hunting down Godfrey at the moment. I just want to say, yes, there is a spin for Rush on the brakes. Oh, what a shame. It was looking so good for both of them, but no, Max Rush spins on the brakes, it seems. Unfortunate for him, but he's still P8 with Diaz in 6 seconds behind, closing that gap, so he's still a bit safe. Vanotti then, 6 tenths behind Malone. He is wanting to get back in that first position. We saw him leading the hood race almost before the safety car. but now he's wanting to get back to that leading position. As we see him closing in on Malone, heading down onto that tricky curb. Hard braking zone here, and tricky braking zone as well, because you obviously lose a bit of grip heading down into that. The spring is oscillated, of course, on that sort of bump that is, or the bend if you want to call it that. Alright, I'm rambling in. 10-13, Vanotti 5 tenths behind, 4 tenths behind. He's gonna have DRS. Let's stick with Vanotti then, because I think this is where the main battle is at the moment. With DRS on the straight, 3 tenths behind, 2 tenths behind. Is it gonna be a move on the brakes? It is gonna be a move on the brakes for Vanotti on the outside, but he's tried that before. Malone knows that move before. He gets in front, nice and tight there for Malone. Really good defense. He knows how to defend that first corner. He has done it multiple times before. But Vanotti, I should say, has also gone past Malone in that corner before. So he knows how to do it. He knows what he needs to be doing. These top class drivers here battling for the second position or second position of the top step. That does not make sense. Second position of the podium, P2. As Malone seems to have been an issue. Vanotti going for a move then. He gets by, but can Malone respond? Down into the mine shaft. Let's go. Malone behind with Vanotti having the DRS. They're squealing all over the place now. Malone looking up, going around the outside. He's not able to respond, and that is a move done for now for Vanotti. So some late action here in the race. Position changes. So Vanotti P2 was Franklin. Almost pulled the gap down to 4.6 seconds again. That is crazy work from him and crazy good. Malone going for that inside. There's a bit of bump there from the two drivers. Hopefully no penalties issued for that. It's a slight touch between Vanotti's rear front as Malone is weaving. Obviously then not happy at all with that touch from Vanotti. As now the cameras seem to be changing again for some reason. But yeah, Malone then building that gap back from Vanotti. But Vanotti still being, he's in the gap to respond. He's closely behind with the same gap. Could be an interesting finish to this race, I believe. But I think we're going to just have to wait a few laps until drivers can respond. Vanotti going really close then to Malone. Malone making a mistake down in turn 13. Last corner, Vanotti is super close. He's going to have DRS as well. Let's get on board with Vanotti then. Luca Vanotti. He's been a race winner before here on Vision F1. But currently looking to make a move. But he's not able to. Malone covered that inside line again. But he goes deep. He goes deep and Vanotti's on the outside, but he can't get by. He can't get by at the moment. He knows he has to bide. Oh, no. That is Vanotti punting Malone off. Oh, that is a shame. There's probably going to be some sort of penalty issued for Vanotti there. I was unsure if maybe Malone was braking too much. It's a tricky corner, But yeah, Vanotti basically just running into the back of him there, it seems, which is not what we want. There's going to be a lot of discussions about that move, I think, afterwards the race. But that means Eads is currently P2. We have Baltics P1 and 2 now. With Vanotti then looking to make a move on Eads as soon as possible. He wants that position back, as we see him go off the track actually. Is that going to leave him vulnerable to Malone? No, it's not at the moment. That spin from Malone was too much. But Malone is going to be hungry. Malone is going to be... No, it's Max Prunings actually. Sorry, I'm used to only having one of those cars on the track. But Malone's dropped almost 5 seconds behind. No, 5 seconds behind Vanotti. It is Max Prunings battling now. Wow, okay. So the Vision F1 cars then battling with Vanotti. hopefully we won't see a repeat of that incident, but can never be too sure. Eid pulling away at the moment. Manotti has lost a lot of time in those last couple of seconds from the first sector. This is a tricky section. He's losing a bit of time here. Going outside on the curve. Oh, that is a nice view for us. That was an intense couple of laps then. Malone we saw obviously not happy at all with Manotti's driving, weaving across the racetrack. That could be a warning for that as well. I mean, you're only allowed to do one move, so one move and go back, which that was more than one move and going back, so could be a warning for him. I'm just gonna state that. But Manotti then looking at Eads, he's 6 tenths behind with Tuning's 8 tenths behind. Not gonna be a move this lap around, I don't think. But let's stick with them for the minute. And I might have spoken too soon because Manotti is closing that gap like a beast right now. 4 tenths behind Eads, but he's doing a bit in this tricky left right-hander. Or not tricky, but fast right-hander where the obviously the dirty eye is in effect, full effect. But not then. Can we go on board with him? Because I think we're gonna see him move pretty soon. To see Pooney's looking up quite a bit there in the background, but still good result for Pooney. He's currently off by P4. And Franklin seems to have been sprung up into the lead there with almost 9 seconds now, 8.5 seconds to his teammate Eads in P2. But not to them, 4 tenths behind. This time around I think we're going to see some sort of attempt at a move at least. Now the question is Eads going to, you know, defend that position? There's only 3 laps left now of this race. Or 3 laps depending on how you count it, but he's not far enough there to make a move yet. Luca Panotti, but he's looking, he wants that position back. He has fought for that position hard and desperately this race. And he wants that at least a P2 finish for him, I think. Still 3 tenths, he's keeping up for Prunings as well. I want to, you know, point out Prunings is keeping up really well. I think it's not getting caught out in Eads dirty air here, so it's sending him back onto Prunings. Interesting stuff. Max Prunings actually seems to, if our Christoph count is correct, which I don't think it is, seems to have hit it 2 times this race. Unsure of why, but I don't think that is correct either way. Okay, can we see a move this time around? But not 3 tenths behind this time. Let's go. He's gonna have DRS 3 tenths behind on the exit, loses a bit on the exit. No, he gains on the exit actually. Okay, 3 tenths behind. Let's go. This is going to be a move for Luke on Eads. Eads parking it in the middle. He can't get by. He's not far enough ahead. Once again, I think we're seeing, like I talked about earlier, I think it was during qualifying, Baltics cars just running a bit of, you know, lower downforce in general. Meaning that people even with DRS are much harder to get by. Because obviously you can have a lot more top speed and less drag on the straights. But that is, like we're seeing now, he's going to leave him vulnerable, but he's going to leave him slower on the corners, so I should say. With Pruning still half a second behind, he's not really closing back up even down to Panotti. As we see him locking up again in the background there. Let's look at Diaz. Diaz has caught up to Godfrey somehow. Is it going to be a move? I don't think so, but there's a big speed difference here. Going around the outside, he's thinking about it. Godfrey on the inside, take that curve now. But Diaz can't get by at the moment yet. Vanotti then heading down into the final corner there. And have Diaz pop out there just to see what happens between those drivers then. Luca Minotti going round the outside. Eads gives that position up for now, it looks like. Yep, and Minotti is passes back into P2. Oh, are we going to have a repeat of Minotti Malone incident? No, we're not. And that puts Eads into the hands of Prunings as well, but there's no... Prunings hasn't really gained any time on P2, the P3 position there. But Eads then dropping significantly already from Minotti. So Minotti seems to be moving up to P2. And I want to just take a look at Franklin then. This is the last lap of the race. A dominant race for Franklin, I should say. He's been really strong this week, the whole weekend. Obviously not the best qualifying, but still really good stuff for him. Penultimate corner, last corner, almost over the line now. Onto the curb, and it's a win for Luke Franklin here at Kyle Army Circuit. Remember that name, Luke Franklin, who's won many times before, but he's won again. What a win. And it is Minotti P2, with Eads taking P3, Max Prunings P4, and it is Malone taking out P5 then. So a lot of action in the latter part of the race. A safety car being brought out in the middle, causing the field to bunch up after they've been split out. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of investigations of the race. But yeah, now it's time to, I think, move on to the interviews shortly. So stick around for a few minutes and we will bring them to you. Yeah, so we're gonna welcome.
Was that live in the stream actually?
No, it is.
All right, I was.
Yeah, so we're gonna welcome Malone then, who has, after a few penalties have been dished out, has been promoted to P3 podium once again. Same finish as last time. What are your thoughts right now?
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. It's a surprise that I'll be on the podium then. But let us check the sound first. The last time it was really bad. Can you check it?
I think it should be good, if I'm being honest. I've fixed it up, so it should be good.
All right, perfect. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm full of bad emotions, to be honest. I'm not happy.
Yeah, so let's start from the beginning then. Just take us through quali. Obviously, P2, almost a tenth, 2 behind Vanotti. Yeah, well, how did quali go for you? If you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, well, not that great, but I did faster times in practice, but I couldn't do it in this qualifying. But yeah, the start of the race, it was really weird because the starting grid is really close together. It's really not an F1 track. We're not going to do this again. But it must be.
It used to be an F1 track, though. It used to be an F1 track.
Yeah, I know, but we cannot start like this, man.
Yeah.
That's insane. But were there any incidents?
Yes, there were, I think, a few touches on the starting grid, yes.
I thought so, yeah. Well, that was a surprise for everybody, I think. But, okay. Yeah, well, the race, I was hoping I could challenge Franklin, but it was clear all week long that he was running lower downforce. And yeah, I can manage the same pace, but overtaking is impossible when the other guy is lower on downforce, and that's really frustrating by itself. But yeah, Vanotti did a good first stint, and yeah, he went. He took a couple of seconds because Franklin and I were fighting, but then something happened, and yeah, Vanotti rejoined, and I don't know why, but he hit my car right away while I was leaving space. That was the first time, and well, it kept going. Yeah, after the safety car, we had a fight, and he kept hitting my car, and my rear ring was totally destroyed. And then he took me out. So yeah, no, not a good race for me. No.
Yeah, unfortunate incidents, but still, you've been promoted to P3, so a podium must feel nice at least.
No, it doesn't. Sorry, mate. No, yeah. No. I expect more from side-by-side racing in Vision F1. This was really ridiculous. But maybe I'm too emotional. I'm gonna look back at it, and I don't want to say too much about it right now.
Yeah,
but, yeah, it doesn't feel good at all.
Yeah, and is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, where's the beer I need? Now it's I need to calm down, and then we're all good. But this was very weird. All right, go for the next, mate.
Thank you for the interview as well, mate. Congratulations on P3. I think it's time to drag in Eads to the interview room.
All right, bye.
Bye. Hello, Eads. Can you hear me? Oh. Seems to have left.
Hello, sorry, that was my mistake.
No worries, Lewis. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, copy that. Congratulations, it's a P2 finish for you.
Thank you.
What a result. I mean, great race from you. Some unfortunate incidents has meant that you are P2. How does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, it was unexpected, to be fair. I knew, to be honest, that I had a similar setup to Luke, so that it was obviously a lot less downforce and more straight line speed. So I kind of knew that as long as I was in the DRS, that I could maybe just keep close enough so that if there were mistakes, which there were, then I could capitalize. Which is more or less how my race went, to be fair. It was just pretty much a bit of fortune. Obviously unfortunate for a couple of people, but it's part of racing, I suppose. So yeah, it was just, I mean, I got a bit of wisdom from Luke in the sort of last third of the race to just sort of keep my distance and just maybe stay put and just see how it unfolds. And so I did, and maybe I don't know, he has a crystal ball or something, but it worked out.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that a bit because obviously you're teammates, but how much actual teamwork is put into these races?
Quite a bit, to be fair. I mean, we obviously every time we jump on to practice, it's usually at the same time, and we share information backwards and forwards. We don't necessarily have like a strategy going into the race as teammates, but we sort of just, I can sometimes get a bit carried away if it's going quite well. So it's usually quite good to just calm me down a little bit. But yeah, I think we share a similar. Like I used to quite like a high downforce setup, and I think that was mainly on the older F1 games, whereas on this, on these sort of mechanics, I seem to prefer less downforce and sort of working around that. And because he's always liked that sort of setup, he does help me a lot on that side. So yeah, we do usually input quite a lot of teamwork going into the race, but not necessarily a full-on strategy, as you say.
Yeah, and that's really interesting to hear because I've been wondering a few races now, like how much effort had been put in. But that's great to hear. Is there anything else you would like to add to this race weekend?
Just obviously happy to get a P2. I mean, I was going to be quite happy to settle for P3. I was I knew on pace that I was maybe sitting around 4th and 5th, and then Malone's teammate is had a lot more pace than I maybe expected. So whilst obviously Luke, Malone and Vanotti were kind of streaming off in the distance, I was just keeping my eyes on prunings, thinking a P4 or P5 is what I was looking at. So I'm just really happy to P2 was just not on the cards at the start. So more than happy with that. So
yeah. And you should be, mate. You should be. But I think that's all for today. Once again, congratulations, P2. Great finish for you. Hopefully you can replicate it next week.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah,
Thank you for the interview, mate. I think it's time to let our winner in.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Luke, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, hello. Congratulations, another race win. I mean, 2 for 2 this season. How are we feeling?
Yeah, good. Happy with the result. Yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dominant race, to be honest. You pulled away a lot. Obviously, a few of the guys were fighting behind, but still, you showed really terrific pace. But I want to touch on qualifying, because you only qualified, or only and only, I should say, quotation marks, but P3, was there any issues during qualifying, or, why did the pace quite cut it today?
I just didn't get on with the C6. I just couldn't get everything out of it like Malone and Vanotti were. So yeah, I had no more pace on the C6.
Yeah. And do you want to take us through the race? Because you had quite I shouldn't say tumultuous race, but there was quite a few changes for position, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the start went well. I just knew I needed to keep it clean, keep within DRS, and hope that the front two battle it out. And obviously, Vanotti managed to get away, so it took me a few laps longer to get past Malone than I'd like, but managed to get through in the end. And then I don't know, there was contact, I guess, with a back marker and Vanotti, so that put me through. And then obviously the safety car came out, and yeah, from then on it was just keeping it consistent and hoping the guys battle behind, which happened. So yeah, I didn't have to push as much. So yeah, it was a good race, and yeah, happy to win.
Yeah, and I should just ask a question today. So, are you thinking it's more? Is it your pace that is really good now, or was it just fortunate circumstances?
I think Vanotti definitely had the pace today. Certainly in clean air. I didn't have the pace that he had, but fortunately for me, he had a few incidents. So yeah, that worked in my favour. I think if not, I think he probably would have just driven away, and it would have been between me and Malone. But yeah.
Yeah, but I think you've shown quite a good pace overall this season. Obviously, there's only been 2 rounds, but do you feel stronger this season than season 4?
Yeah, I think just understanding the game a bit more, being able to just dial in a setup a bit better, and yeah, just being able to stay consistent, I think is the key part. I think I've always had pace, but I think it's just it's more difficult to keep it consistent. So that's one thing I've been trying to improve on, and it seems to be working so far. So hopefully it continues.
Yeah, and that's great, mate. Well, I think if you don't want to add anything else, it's time to let you go. But is there any other thoughts?
Let's congrats the rest of the podium, and yeah, look forward to next week.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's time to let you, take a breather, calm down, celebrate. So we'll see you next week, right?
Yes, of course.
That was nice to hear. Congratulations once again. Bye bye, mate. Thanks for the
Thanks
interview
very
as
much.
well.
See you later. Yep. Bye-bye.
And that concludes our interviews for today's race. Obviously, a bit of a sleeping start there for the first few laps, but we saw a lot of action in the last couple of laps. We'll be back next week. That week it is Jeddah. So the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix next week. Tight circuit. Most likely a lot of action will happen there. Hopefully not too many crashes. But yeah, as always, my name is Francis. I've been your host for today, and I most likely will be next week. And I hope to see as many of you guys there as possible.